Welcome to our deep dive into the fascinating world of Medusa, one of Greek mythology's most intriguing figures. Hers is not a simple tale of monster slain by hero. No, hers is a story woven through with betrayal, beauty, and the brutal whims of the gods. Prepare yourself, for to look upon the legend of Medusa is to confront not just a monster, but perhaps a mirror reflecting our own perceptions of monstrosity itself. Before the curse, before the snakes, there were three sisters, Stheno, Euryale, and Medusa, the youngest, born not of Olympian grandeur, but of primordial chaos. Their parents, Phorcys and Ceto, were themselves creatures of the sea's primal depths, their lineage a tapestry of monsters and ancient, terrible powers. But unlike her elder sisters, eternally immortal, Medusa was born bearing the shadow of eventual death, a flicker of mortality in her very essence. This difference, this hint of the human, would come to define her tragic tale. Imagine, if you will, Medusa before the transformation. Picture cascading locks of spun gold, eyes that held the shimmer of the Aegean Sea. Her beauty, it is said, rivaled that of even the goddesses. But such beauty in the eyes of the gods could be a dangerous thing. The god Poseidon, overcome by lust, violated Medusa in Athena's own temple, a sacrilege of the highest order. Athena's rage, swift and terrible, fell upon Medusa. Some say it was jealousy, others a twisted sense of justice. Whatever the reason, Medusa's beauty, once her blessing, became her curse, twisted into a monstrous visage. No longer the fairest of all, Medusa became a creature both terrifying and tragic. Her once lovely hair transformed into a writhing nest of venomous serpents, each scale a tiny mirror reflecting back the horror of her transformation. And her eyes, those eyes that once captivated, now held the power to petrify, to turn flesh to stone with a single glance. Imagine the isolation, the utter despair of such an existence, to be forever feared, forever reviled. This was the cruel fate bestowed upon Medusa, a punishment far exceeding any crime. Chapter 4. The hero's grim errand. Enter Perseus, a hero on a quest orchestrated by the gods themselves. King Polydectes, captivated by Medusa's legend, tasked Perseus with retrieving her head, a seemingly impossible feat, but Perseus, armed with divine gifts, Hermes' winged sandals, Hades' helm of invisibility, and most importantly, Athena's reflective shield, set out to confront the Gorgon. Imagine the scene, the hero facing down the monster in her lair, the air thick with the stench of fear and decay. Perseus, wise to the danger of her gaze, used the shield as a mirror, battling her reflection rather than meeting her eyes directly. Chapter 5. The Gorgon's Legacy. With a swift stroke, Perseus beheaded Medusa, her power, even in death, potent enough to birth the winged horse Pegasus and the giant Chrysaor from her severed neck. This, you see, speaks to the duality of Medusa, the monstrous intertwined with the magnificent. Perseus, taking the severed head, used it as a weapon, a shield, a symbol of his triumph over the monstrous. But was it truly a triumph? Or was it merely another act in the gods' cruel game, another soul ensnared in their web of machinations? Chapter 6. More than stone. Medusa's image, once a source of terror, became a recurring motif in art and literature. She adorned shields and breastplates, a warning and a ward against evil. But over time, her story began to resonate differently. Artists, poets, playwrights, they saw in Medusa not just a monster, but a victim. They saw the injustice, the rage, the profound sorrow of a woman robbed of her beauty, her agency, her very life. Chapter 7. Reclaiming the narrative. In recent times, Medusa's story has been reclaimed, reinterpreted through a feminist lens. She has become a symbol of female rage, a potent representation of the consequences of male violence and societal control. No longer simply a monster to be slain, she is a figure demanding empathy, understanding, a reassessment of how we perceive victims and villains. Medusa's story, much like the snakes of her hair, twists and turns, constantly evolving with each retelling. Outro. Reflections in the Gorgon's Eye. Thanks for joining us on this journey through Medusa's myth. Her story continues to captivate and inspire, reminding us of the enduring power of mythology. But more than that, it challenges us to look beyond the surface, to question the narratives we've been told, and to find the humanity even in the monstrous. Perhaps, in Medusa's tragic tale, we find a reflection of our own capacity for both beauty and brutality, for victimhood and for strength.